Hello, everyone. So I have finally finished my watch through of The Midnight Club on Netflix. So this is a brand new horror series that comes to us from Mike Flanagan. You might know him from Haunting of Hill House, Bly Manor, Midnight Mass, which came out last year. So this is the next iteration into, or a next entry into the Planiverse, is what Netflix is calling it. It is 10 episodes long, each episode kind of anywhere between 50 minutes to an hour long. And yeah, so really without further ado, let us get into my review for the next installment of The Flaniverse, The Midnight Club. So The Midnight Club follows a group of 8 terminally ill patients at Bright Cliff Hospice. They basically begin to gather together at midnight. They sneak out of their rooms into a library room to share scary stories, or as they call it, make ghosts. So it's basically their way of, again, to a lot of their stories have points of their trauma, their past, or even to a lot of them will take a situation that one of the other members of this hospice is going through and make a scary story about it. And a lot of them, as we all kind of know that Mike Flanagan has done before, have very beautiful messages that are just very personal and deal with a lot of socio-economic, political, just a lot of issues that humans will face, and especially to the case that all of these 8 people are facing, a lot of them flush out again their trauma and stories throughout this. So all 8 characters are kind of university age kids who again feel like they've had their life taken away from them because they're terminally ill. They're there in this hospice to just get treatments and make their death a lot less painful and have a sense of community around there. So we follow main character of Inanka. She was supposed to be basically valedictorian of her graduating class, great university she was supposed to get into. But I mean, after that fact, she had that taken away from her. She was diagnosed terminally ill with cancer. So again, she goes to Brightcliff, and yeah, there's a real sense of community that comes from the Midnight Club, and it's again to just a way that they can sneak out and find a bit of their youth back that was taken from them, and some of the stories that they tell are very, very cool. But we do get word that there is something bigger in this hospice that they are living in. There's something that connects this realm to the spiritual. You start to see dead bodies and things like that appear very, very selectively to a few of the, of course, patients that are within this hospice. And you can tell that it has a dark and very hidden history within it. And there's someone who creeps around the grounds of the hospice, and you can tell too that they have a very dark past to them as well. And yeah, I found that this story was, there was just a lot of mystery within it, and it was something very, very cool. This is just the first season, and Mike Flanagan has said that he wants to create more, and I do hope that we get to see more, because a lot of the questions that I feel like should have been answered weren't this time around, and there's so much more for this show to tell us. When it comes to placing this or ranking everything Mike Flanagan has done on Netflix, this is my least favorite, but it's because it's incomplete at this point, and there's still so much that we need to know. It is a lot more slow paced, and I don't want to say uninteresting, but the other stories did grip me a lot more in terms of its characters, its story, the creepy haunted mansion that it takes place in. I just found those stories were a lot more interesting, better paced, but the characters I do love equally. I fell in love with just about every single one of them by the end of this series. They're fantastic characters that are acted. Again, the acting is absolutely incredible, as it always has been. Just very personal, relatable stories that have really great commentary again on just socio issues. And there's great commentary about the AIDS epidemic and what that would mean for people of a Christian faith, people who are gay and outed from their communities. Of course, too, just the whole fact about losing connections because you're getting terminal and having selfish feelings on kind of both sides of the people in the hospice and the people who left them in their lives outside. Like there's just so much commentary as Mike Flanagan has always done in his shows, and I found it's just very, very smart and beautifully told, and just something so touching in every single story, every single character. Again, so I walked out of this loving every single character. Unfortunately, except for the main character, Noka, I found that I was really liking her, but near the ends, or I want to say kind of the last quarter of the show, she got in a headspace that was just so incredibly naive and inexcusably naive towards the situation that she's put in, that it was very tough to get on her side or care about her at all, because she's really putting everyone in danger and hurting people for just, again, reasons that are inexcusable, at least in my eyes. So I do hope with another season, and I do feel like they kind of build towards it, that she will have a lot more of a, again, just kind of a sense of her actions, which I do think she is going to have in the next seasons. But it was very tough to get into the main character, unfortunately, within this show. And again, too, the pacing's slow, but when it gets into it, it's very, very good. The first basically 5 episodes all had the exact same structure for the episodes too, where it'd be the kids talking, a little bit of trauma. They would tell their story. Well, that would be the first half of the episode. The last half would be telling their story. And basically, while they tell their stories, they have the same actors take a new role in the stories that they're telling, because, of course, they're relating them off of one another. And it'll be like kind of half an hour of them telling their scary ghost story. And a lot of them are really, really cool and have, again, too, beautiful twist to them. But that's where a lot of the horror can come into this show. And so, yeah, they would tell their story there, and then in the last 5-10 minutes there would be, again, horror within the house, finding out that something's wrong, there's a presence within this house, and there'd be a cliffhanger and an ending, and then it would do the exact same thing for, again, the first 5 episodes. And then in the 6 is where the structure really started to change between the episodes, and I found it did get a little bit stronger from that point on. The last half of the series I did definitely find was a lot stronger, but that was when, of course, things were just more established and they were able to, again, play with the characters and the story and the hospice and all that a lot more. But really, overall, I still really, really did like the Midnight Club. I feel like I would recommend this to anyone who is a big fan of Mike Flanagan's horror, because, again, too, it's just that same amazing storytelling that's it's so beautiful, and I love the way that he breaks apart scenarios and just makes it so personable, so relatable, and just really grounded in reality and the feelings of the characters. He truly understands them and is able to make them all shine, especially too with the amazing acting that comes out of the show. So with everything taken together, I'm gonna have to give the Midnight Club a 7.5 out of 10. I did really, really like it. Again, too, it's my least favorite from what he's done so far, but that's just with a lot of the groundwork that they had to set up in the show. It did feel a little slow paced. A lot of things were kind of left out, but with a season 2, I feel like this could definitely get as strong as some of the other things he's done, like Hill House, Midnight Mass, things like that. So do highly recommend it. I think it's very, very good. And yeah, a lot of the little stories that they have in here are very creepy, very creative, very unique. So yeah, it's just awesome. Definitely give this one a watch. But if you have already given the Midnight Club a watch, please let me know what your thoughts are. It's in the comments down below. Of course, if you like this review, definitely give it a thumbs up, and you can check out everything I do on this channel. I'll link some playlists up top here for convenience sake. Thank you for subscribing and turn that little ringer on so you know when I upload new videos. And if you want to check out the description of this video and my channel bio, there is a link to the Media Mountain, which is my Discord where we talk about movies, video games, comic books, TV, pretty much everything that's awesome in this world. So you definitely join that amazing community, help make it even more amazing than it is already. And yeah, just awesome, guys.
Sky blue eyes, I see a world behind them. No more time sinking into the silence.